welcome along and welcome to my farm. My name is Eddie and this is Fairview Farm. It is located on Fairhead on the northern Irish coast, and it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I absolutely love being up here. Down in the valley you can see Loch na Craig Crannog, which is located here on Fairhead. It's a beautiful Northern Irish loch, absolutely gorgeous. There is another one located a little bit further over in the tree lines over there, but we'll get to that at some point, I think. I want to, well, this is the first of hopefully many vlogs from my farm, and I want to give you a good overview today of the farm, of the equipment that we have. We need to feed our cows. Our cows are in need of some feed, so we're going to go and do that today as well. I took over the farm from my father a couple of years ago. He retired. We've had this, I think I'm fourth generation here. So my great grandfather originally came up here and set up this farm. And you can tell a little bit with some of the equipment that we have hanging around here. We got a David Brown 1210. I'm fairly sure that this tractor has been here certainly since my grandfather was farming the farm. It's been here a good 45 years. It's from the 1970s, but it still does us absolutely brilliantly here. And then, of course, from the late 1980s, early 90s, we've got the Ford here, the 7610. This similarly has been here since new. It serves the farm absolutely well, and we haven't really needed anything larger than this. It's got about 97 horsepower, this Ford, and does everything around here that we need it to do. One thing I would like to do over the next few months, I think, is do some modernization of our equipment. Maybe get us a new tractor, see if we can improve things. But for reasons that will become apparent as we go around this yard, you'll see that that's not that good an option at the moment. We've got a little bit of a problem on the farm. We've got a water trailer, stroke milk trailer. This is how we take all of our milk from the farm to market. We don't create a huge amount of milk, and we tend to try and take it on a regular basis. It's enough to keep the farm ticking over. And then we've got a flatbed trailer to get things like bags of seed and other things like fertilizer back to the farm when we need it. Around the corner in this yard here, we have what really earns us the money on the farm. You can see we've got two very large fermenting clamps here, silage clamps here. We take a lot of silage down to the local BGA. That's how we make a lot of our money on here. So we cut a lot of grass silage on the farm. We get it fermenting in these clamps, and then we take it down there to sell. Our combine on the farm is an International 1420. This has been around on the farm for a few years as well, like everything here. The equipment here is getting on a bit. We have had a few new purchases over the last few months. We bought a new feeding wagon, so our Strawman Vertimix there. That's a new item. We've got a new bale shredder actually as well, that we're using on the farm. This is the heart of our farm, though. This is our Boss Alpine 291. This gets all of our grass silage, all of our silage for grass, into our clamps here, and really makes us the most amount of money on the farm. We have a mower, of course, so a lot of boating equipment here. So we've got a mower from them. We have a rather old little tedder here. This is so that we can create some hay for the cows at and just keep that going as well. So we turn normally about one cut a year into hay, so that we can keep the cows fed. We've got a class Roland baler. We use this to bale up our straw and our hay when we need to. We've got a herbist dump trailer. This is what we use for all of our carting, and basically if we're doing anything else around the yard, we tend to use this as well. And then finally we've got a Potinger windrower. I prefer to get the windrowing done fairly quick. So this is probably our biggest bit of kit as far as our silage operation goes. Simply because I want to get things rowed up fairly quickly to get them either baled or collected. It's quite a good setup we have here at the moment. My biggest problem is this corner here. We have to go all the way around in our grass field and down the roadway here to get most of our equipment just round this corner here. It is such a tight turn. And to be honest, this building here at the corner, we haven't used this for years now. So I think there are certain improvements that we can do to the farm that would certainly ease things up for us a little bit. We've got a whole load of bales stacked here as well. We've got a few of our hay bales that we created earlier in the year. We also have a few straw bales as well. Those are from last year's harvest. We don't use them very often. We've got our Warzy bale shredder. This is what we use to get some bedding in for our cows. And then we've got a Nordstein. Well, this is it's a Nordstein seeder and a Rabe power harrow. These go together on our little Ford, and these do all of our stuff as far as getting the crops into the ground. So and we tend to rotate our fields a bit. So over a 4-year period, we will go and switch a grass field over to arable and make sure that we're not always growing the wheat, the single field of wheat that we have to grow each year. We're not doing that on the same field every year, because that would just be bad. And it basically means that we go fallow roughly every few years. This, as I've mentioned, is our new Vertimix. This arrived only a few days ago, actually. It's completely unused so far, so we're going to be using this for the first time today. And then we've got the girls who are just through here. So this is our cow shed. In fact, this is our milking parlor. Our cows, they're in here. Here are the girls. So we've got 24 of these Holstein cows on here who provide milk and make money for us. They also provide fertilizer for the farm in the form of both slurry and manure, are really what help keep the price down on various things. So things tick over here quite nicely on the farm. I am looking to modernize a bit now that I've found my feet and been here a couple of years and taking over my dad and really knowing how things all work around here. We're now in a position really to start modernizing the farm a little bit and moving things forward. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into my 7810 here, and we're going to head. Let's just get in the right gear. That should do it. And we're going to head around and grab our Vertimix. You can see here immediately with the tight turns that we have to do around this yard. And yeah, I don't like having a building around here really that doesn't do much and that is of no use to us. I think we could allow ourselves a bit more space. Also, our Vertimix here, while I tried to get something small, there isn't a huge amount of small stuff around here. It's actually fairly difficult to get small enough equipment that will fit on this farm these days. A lot of it actually ends up being for sort of vineyards and things these days. So yeah, getting a tractor that does what I need it to do around here, or equipment that I need to do around here. Lots of places cater for much bigger setups these days, and as a result, we're finding it harder and harder to get things. I can buy older equipment, and we're not adverse to using older equipment around here, but it really begins to cause us issues in getting parts and things. The older the stuff, of course, the harder some of the parts are to get. Although, at the very least, we're able to use our workshop here to repair a lot of stuff. So it's not too bad. I'm kind of feeling my explanation here is a little bit all over the place. But yeah, it's not great. Oh, you know, I've got my new Vertimix here. What we don't have is any silage. We need to do silage cut because we've just done a recent sell-off. So while I have got my mixer here and I'm showing it off, we don't actually have any silage to put in it at the moment. So I'm going to have to do, in fact, is go and put it away, because what we need is just the hay. At this time of year, it's not too bad for our cows to be just feeding them the hay. They'll handle that fine. We are letting them out on the fields as well and into the pastures so that they can graze a bit too. The tightness of all the maneuvering around this yard though is quite mad. So yeah, I have got my Ford out and completely forgotten while I'm recording this vlog that in fact I don't need this tractor, and all I've done is really create myself another obstacle. Let's open up our door here and we'll get this into the shed like so, and then we can break these bales apart and give them to our cows. Before we continue, this video is brought to you in partnership with the awesome people at Apex Gaming PCs. I've teamed up with Apex Gaming PCs to create my own custom line of PCs suitable for everybody from beginner farmers to virtual farming experts. Apex Gaming PCs are offering up to $250 off your next purchase just by using my link in the description below. So go check them out. All done? Yeah, not a huge amount. I think we're going to have to put pretty much the remains of our hay bales into the barn today in order to actually give them the amount of feed that they're going to need going forwards. So yeah, it's been a while since I've considered doing a series like this. This has been in the making for a few years, ever since Dad, since I took over from Dad. The idea of giving people a view into my farm has been a strong one. I've wanted to do it for a while. Finally got the equipment to be able to do it and give people a view into maybe an older setup farm. I keep seeing a lot of newer farms on in YouTube videos. And I thought somewhere that's still using older equipment and is a little bit older in its setup might be a good place to be. So very interested to see what people think of me being of doing this and putting my farm out there. It's always nice to hear from people. Let's drop the second lot of those in. Yeah, I'm going to put all 8 bales of this in there. And then I think what we'll do is we'll get the warzy cooked up and see if we can get some straw into here as well. This is the final 2 bales to put into here. And looks like our cows are fairly well off. So those go into there. And our cows, yeah, looking fairly well fed. This should do them for a little while. So close up their door there. I really would like to have demonstrated this today, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer before I can do that. What I do need to do now is hook up the warzy, and we'll see if we can get some of the straw in and give them some bedding. So this bit of kit has been really useful around here. This is the warzy bale shredder. When we have a limited amount of space, it is something that is able to be easily moved around. We do have to do a little bit of back and forth, and sometimes I do get at the supports a bit, so it's got a few scrapes on it at this point. But the great thing about it is that we're able to just disconnect it off the front like this, and it gives us a bale spike when we do it like that. And then this bale spike we can easily go and grab the bales with. So I'll grab myself a straw bale from in here, keep things low. Yeah, we've got a problem with this lean-to as well. We're now at a point where our stuff is pretty much taller than the lean-to as well. It gives us a little bit of trouble, all of this maneuvering back and forth all the time. So I think the center part of here, what we're going to be doing is probably trying to demolish and reconfigure that. It's quite a difficult thing because we are in a conservation area here, and what we can and can't do is very restrictive. But let's do this a little bit differently. We will drop that on the floor like that. Yeah, I want to put the bale in sideways because it shreds so much easier. It goes with the roll of the whole thing. Grab that there and up and in. Oh, absolutely beautiful. There we go. Yeah, when things go nicely, that makes me very happy. And then just back into bale shredder like that. We connect everything up. And we get in there. I think my things are a little bit off. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult because you have to get yourself exactly right. That should just slot into there. Why are we not slotting in? Ah, that's why. Yeah, you see, I can't see the angle of my front loader. So bring it up, it down, and then we'll give it a go. Right, and on. There we are. Yeah, it sometimes takes a little bit of trial and error just to get things where I want them. And then we can head in and, yeah, give the cows some bedding as well. And that should keep them happy for a little while. We've got water already supplied to here. So this shed is fine for getting their water needs sorted. It's just the rest of the needs here. And, yeah, this just fits in here. So here we go. And turn it on. And blast some straw into our cow shed. Give them some bedding, and make them nice and happy. I'm thinking this will probably need a couple of these bales in order to do this. So having emptied the bale, what I'm going to do is just drop this off at the entrance here. And then what we'll be able to do after that is very quickly load up, drive in, and get the rest in. But yes, we're gonna need to give our cows all of these bales in order for them to be fully happy, or kept fully happy, for a little while. Between bales, I'm just taking an opportunity to get this out the way, because obviously we don't need it today. We need to get a load of silage first. So we'll just unconnect all of that and then go and put the Ford back in the shed. I'm going to be using this to be doing some grass cutting and other bits over the next few days. So we will get a fair amount of use out of our Ford here. But at the moment, obviously, it's not much use to us because we're doing the stuff with the Warzy and the David Brown. So we'll just park this up in here. and I'll get back to doing the shredding of the straw. Find when I'm doing a lot of bales like this that my best bet is normally to go and grab a couple of bales at once and bring them back, especially when they're stacked like this. The easiest thing for me to do is to get them and then just have a couple waiting for me beside the actual cow shed. Also, dropping the Warzy off there, I don't need to take it all the way with me. It's just easier to do it that way. So, get this out. Of course, this David Brown predates self-leveling front loaders, so it can be a little bit tricky, especially if you don't remember that it's not leveling itself. So I can show you what I mean by this. If that's been fairly level to pick that up, if I lift it, you can see it lifts it towards the heavens. So it doesn't self-level on this. And now you can see that we are in a position where we can very easily get this aligned. But lifting this up, you can see my prongs are pointing skyward at the moment. And if I lower it down to the point at which I want to connect up to my piece of equipment, you can see that they're still pointing up slightly, but not quite as much as they were. So I'll adjust them a little bit. We'll pull forwards. We'll hook it on. And there we go. So it just makes things that little bit easier, taking that into account. Because then I don't end up with an issue where I'm just pushing this piece of kit forwards rather than actually connecting up to it. Bale is in, so I'm just going to pull this out here, disconnect again, then we can come out, and if I lift it up slightly, I know that I'm now pointing upwards, so we'll level things out a little bit. Grab the second bale, lift that up, and it should slot nicely then into our bale shredder. And this should pretty much give the cows all of the straw they need. We are going to have a load more straw later in the month because our wheat is just about ready. And then we'll hook this back up. Try and get things where we want them to be. Connecting in. Yeah, it's a little bit of careful positioning quite often, and then we can unload this final bale into the cowshed, and we're nearly full. There we go. So I'll back this out, and yeah, we've got a little bit left, so I can now put this whole piece of kit into the shed there out the way, because we've got no more bales in there. I think one thing I do need to build on the farm and would be really useful is some sort of bale storage. At the moment we have trouble every year. We end up using our silage clamps to store all sorts of things that aren't silage. So yeah, I'm not too happy about our storage around here. A lot of this farm over the past decade or so has been built around producing silage, and kind of ended up neglecting our dairy cows a little bit as a result of that. So I'm very much wanting to rectify that. And a lot of the facilities we did have around here, we seem to have sort of moved on from our dairy cows. So I want to bring it back towards the cows and give us a little bit more room to breathe around here, I think. The cows are doing well, and we've got a very large slurry pit over here, so we'll be using this to do some work on the farm. And yeah, there are a few fields around here. Unfortunately, we've got farmers have access to our land because we sold all of this stuff off. I think the ability to do some more arable around here would be really good as well. So yeah, there's a fair amount of work for us to do around the farm. For today's vlog, I'm going to leave it here though. So all that remains is for me to say
thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Your support is invaluable in making these videos and helping the channel to grow. For more from Virtual Farmer, check out the links below, follow on Twitch to watch live, and for more videos, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you next time. Goodbye.